GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Listen up, please!
I'm glad you're here.
Mind orgasms and fantasies.
By the way, I want to say something that I absolutely love.
The back of my head may or may not look like a pug.
Somebody's misguided. The younger generation...
If you can wipe your own ass, then the other guy gets shot.
And I don't know that you notice it, but I do.
We found out who we truly are, which is a bunch of assholes.
Most of the time, it's because I'm turned away from you.
Why did you buy the vibrating strap-on pillow?
But there's something that I absolutely love.
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
Now, there was a time when we had to hide and we had to be quiet.
Right now, he's wearing a tinfoil hat.
Have you ever heard the term misguided? I've been misguided.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't know where you've been. You weren't from this country.
Melania, we had asparagus for dinner. No, thank you. I appreciate the effort, but it's gross.
You know, asparagus is the only vegetable I like to eat. Other than that, nice thick carrot I stick up my buttocks.
I know, but you also had vodka. It's a little gross.
Is Jordan here? He said he started.
I think he was trying to catch us.
Welcome to the episode. This is episode 34.
Is this all recorded?
Not
Most
all
of
of
it
it.
was.
Up to the...
We got the asparagus line, right?
We started with the asparagus line, basically,
Yes! Yes!
I broke my resolution already. I tried to wait to 20 days. It didn't happen.
Hey, Ginger says hi, by the way, guys.
Oh, tell Ginger.
Oh, she's still alive.
Hello.
She's still alive.
That's
Rumors
weird.
of her death were greatly exaggerated.
That's weird.
She destroyed the trolls.
Is she back on Twitter, or is this just like a?
No, I don't think she's back on Twitter. She has like a private Twitter, but I don't know.
I have to be honest. I still think Twitter is or Ginger is just like an alternate person for. Like
I secretly always wanted to have red hair.
He's just catfishing at this point.
I'm catfishing myself. But it's just talking about like how nice my jacket is.
It's the slow play, you know.
I did not see that coming.
Not even. I did it to myself, and I didn't even see it coming.
Impressive.
Most impressive. Oh boy, gentlemen, how are we this week?
I'm excited for the episode. I started school. I'm done with frickin' inventory, which, by the way, is an abortion. There is nothing worse than a week-long inventory.
Is that a hanger hack?
Ooh.
Well, there were a lot of hangers involved, so I guess you're not too far off.
By the way, in case Tom does edit this episode, I said and we need to edit all the beeps. So anytime you hear the word just make sure you beep it.
Fucking ass.
I'm going to remove the name.
Enough out of both of you.
All right. See, I thought you were an atheist.
That's the weird
That's
thing.
why he wants to remove the... That's what I was talking about. What were you guys talking about? Oh boy! So you had a coat hanger abortion at work. So
yeah. You know, we got that blizzard, right? The thing is, like, an inventory is a big thing to move. You can't really like move the day. So we started our inventory. We closed the store early because we were like, no one's showing up. So they closed the store. We started our inventory. We did inventory for a couple hours. And then everyone had to leave because they all lived down near the Cape, and that place was getting smashed with snow. So
for those of you who don't understand, the colloquial that we use for Cape Cod is the Cape.
Yeah. I don't think anyone
Massachusetts
doesn't know that.
Well, I mean, if people aren't from Massachusetts,
well,
like,
that's
say
their
we have
problem.
some guy from like Texas.
Hello, Texas. So anyway, I had to drive there in the heat of the blizzard down Route 3 to Braintree to count shoes, and that's what I did. I did it overnights.
We are better live than dead.
I am
recording live from the
We have no
podcast
listeners
studio.
from Florida,
Zombie podcast.
None of our followers are from Florida, right?
I don't, probably not.
I don't even count them as people, you know? That's just
Hey.
species.
Florida has some nice things in the winter when all the northerners go down there.
Those are snowbirds, so I think they probably only have, like, half count. They're half zombies.
Yes. All right.
It's just reruns. Anytime you go down to Florida, it's just reruns of the Golden Girls everywhere.
Speaking of Florida,
they named me Florida. That's a state.
Tonight's episode is all about travel stories.
But they don't even know who we are now. They think that we're Better Live Than Dead. Are we going to continue on with this charade?
Of course, we're not
I
Better
hope
Live
they
Than
didn't
Dead.
click on
We're
a
Misguided Musings, of course.
podcast. They had to click the title to listen
Yeah,
to the
so if you don't know who we are right now, it's kind of your own fault.
All right, everybody, welcome to the episode. I am Jordan, joined tonight with Sarge and Matt as the brains and assholes of this episode, and Jesse being the fool.
We're kind of like hot dogs. We're all brains and assholes.
Don't forget the lips. You have to add the lips.
You're like the middle of sex.
We're just trying to think of an intricate part to hit the asshole.
So let's get rid of the housekeeping real quick. You can follow us on Twitter at Musing Podcast, where we had some success with the Donald Trump P tweets that we've had lately.
They're really golden.
Yes, they're pure gold.
Do you think his favorite album was Mellow Gold by Beck?
I think his favorite drink is Mellow Yellow.
I think his favorite song was Yellow by Coldplay.
We are also on Facebook at www.facebook.com/misguidedmusings, and we are on our website at www.misguidedmusings.com.
Donald Trump is at WePP POTUS election.
I am at...
God damn.
Yeah, right.
I was hoping it would be stronger than
You've got to be better than that.
Yeah, no, when you deliver a line, I mean, you know what, Matt, here's the way I'm going to go with this. 10% truth, 90% certainty, or 90% confidence, whatever you want to go with. So, you really failed out in the confidence part.
You lost me. There's way too many percentages there.
Well, I mean, no, there's only 100 percentage points there. If you're having a problem with 100%, you should not go to school, because when they get into 200%, you're in trouble.
Well, it is night school.
I always have a problem with somebody who's like, I'm going to give it 101%. It's just like, and even over 100%, somebody says it's like, okay, there's no truth.
Yeah, but you can increase something. You can
Exaggeration.
increase something by 110%. It's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only time
Yeah.
on a scale you should say more than 10 is this goes to 11.
So, when you go to school, do you picture the theme from Night Court? Because, like, when I
Yes.
went to night school,
Yes.
I was always thinking of the theme from Night Court as I was walking to my class.
Well, it's funny.
And
Like,
then-
I'll walk to class and I'll see all the students that go to day school, like the day walkers. I'll see them leaving the school, and then you see like all the night creatures kind of scurrying into their various classes. And tonight's class.
Is that the show that John Travolta had AIDS?
No, I don't.
No.
That is Philadelphia.
Have you been hanging out with Maynard
Well,
was
I will
Tom
say
Hanks.
something.
in
I
Philadelphia?
Larry
know
has
who
been
it
telling me
was.
some things.
Everyone just let that sit. Like, yep.
I just
Anyway, no,
mean,
you see
it was-
like
He's so believable in real life, you think he's that character.
well, you see all. So anyway, you see
it was
all
Warren
the,
Beatty. So
No. It was Ned Beatty.
no, yeah, that's what I said, Warren Beatty.
So you see all the.
No, you're thinking Ned Beatty.
Anyway, you see all the night crawlers kind of scurrying to class, and you get into the classroom. And tonight's class, my teacher looked like a mix of Anton LaVey and Mr. Clean, and he was
Well, I
terrifying.
know one of those people.
That could have been a metaphor for dating there, how you describe going to night class.
But it was
Just a night
it was a good
crawler.
class. We talked about logic.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
I know.
Anyway,
All right, so
Everyone's
on
gonna fail
Twitter,
that class.
I am at Muse Knuckle. Sarge is at Bastard Prophet. Jesse is at the Jesse Miles, sadly still, and Matt is at an Eclectic Taste. Jesse, before we start, have you had any more fun Twitter follows? Then
no,
at the
not
Jesse
this week.
Miles has run its course. Change it.
Jesse, I have a funny story to tell you. I was watching TV the other night, and I saw a commercial for fucking Amazing Jonathan. And he
Yeah,
actually,
me too.
He
Okay,
actually looked
all
really
right.
healthy.
Just fat.
Yeah, he's doing comedy again.
Yeah, I remember because you were
Well,
saying
magic comedy.
I thought he was past it. I thought he was going to die. I mean, I saw his last speech from his last show, and I was like, oh man, this is so sad. And then I saw him. He's coming to
He's
town in
gonna
a
come
couple
to
of
the
weeks,
Wilbur.
right?
Yeah, the Wilbur.
He's fucking hilarious. I'm really glad he's up and running again.
You know he's dead. And
I
it's just
assume
Ted
Michael
Gillette
Douglas
doing a
just sells
character.
vials of his blood that helps people regenerate.
Wait, Kirk Douglas.
What?
Kirk Douglas. He's Wolverine.
Yes.
He's doing. Yes.
Never die. Okay. I guess let's get on with it.
Yeah. Tonight's episode, very exciting.
Cool.
Travel stories. We're all going to tell a true travel story from our past, and you have to figure out which one of us is actually telling the truth and which
Oh,
ones
boy.
of us are complete and total liars. So
Yeah, this should be pretty fun.
Sociopaths.
So, I've gone ahead and said the last time you had the shits is the first person to go.
oh man, I've been backed up for a while.
I'm glad I wasn't in this
Friday.
one. I had that fucking virus 2 weeks ago.
Friday.
It was really just a clever
Friday
way for us
for
to
Matt?
get in the fact that Jesse had the neurovirus.
Oh, it was awful.
Were you on a cruise ship, or did you go into a Chipotle?
No, it was after the holidays. I think we probably got it at some family party.
So his girlfriend shit into his mouth.
Or could
It's getting a lot more common.
The shit in the mouth, or
The pee part.
well,
I don't know.
Donald
if
Trump is making it acceptable.
not there
so I
yet.
guess
They're
we
not
should
there
too.
I don't think anything he does is thought of as acceptable.
The Ramones kick on the awkwardness of sex.
You are not gonna be peeing on yourselves at any time soon.
No, nor will I be
The last
paying
time-
people to pee on
Jesse,
The last time I
Jesse.
peed on myself, I was drunk. and
Jesse,
it
I have an
was
important
really hard to
question.
stand.
I have a
Yeah.
very important question. In the
Okay.
sex club, is there a water sports room? Side
No,
question:
there's-
is there a lifeguard?
Actually, stuff like that is highly discouraged
Really?
there. It's a clean place.
You would think that a place that encourages like multiple people to fuck people they don't know would be kind of open to almost anything.
Don't take fetish.
We don't
It like, kind of
I
ruined
think-
my view of it because I was thinking like maybe there's like a guy walking around dressed like a giant fucking squirrel. Like maybe there's a dude in a diaper.
I think even in the sex club community, we're like, all right, bathroom stuff's gross.
I really hope
guys.
they have like a Valentine's party and there's just one guy walking around in a diaper with like those suction cup arrows, sticking them on people's heads.
All right, so
Did you lick this?
so back to the shits. I haven't had them in recent memory.
Oh,
Just don't go to their red wedding party.
ew.
It's a bunch
That
of
time of the
angry
month,
women.
I had him very early last week, so it sounds like Matt.
And so Matt is going first.
Is that an historical period, Jesse?
God, I knew he was going to say it too. I should have said something.
He gets it. He gets it.
We're spot on with that.
All right. So
All
Matt,
right,
you're
that's
up,
enough.
buddy.
That's enough.
Spot,
End
I
it.
get
Period.
Matt, you're up.
All right, guys, let's put a
Jordan's
plug in
such a
this
piss
one.
taker. All right.
Guys, you're gonna make see red.
Well, my religion, the Christian religion, Christ himself, Christian. All right. So, 2005, me and a couple of friends decide we want to go up to Montreal for New Year's. We're both 20 years old at the time, and all four of us.
Wait,
and,
how many of you were there?
There were four of us.
Four
there.
of you. Got it.
Yeah. And I had just gotten my new green card. I was with a green card for 3 years, which will be a story for a different episode. So I was like, hell, I've never been to Canada. I really want to go. And Montreal is only 5 hours from Boston. So I told my friends, we kind of went out of a whim, last minute thing, got a hostel that was fairly cheap in a decent area. And we headed right up to Montreal. So like Montreal was a very vibrant city. It was kind of a little bit of a culture shock for us because even though we knew they spoke French, we didn't realize everything was in French, you know, like they actually, you know, as soon as you go over the border, like there's this big assumption Canada, it's got these mountains and woods.
And Degrassi.
All right, Stephen Hawkins. So anyway, so we get into Canada. It's all flatlands. Looks like Kansas. Very weird. There's like nobody.
Wait, so
on the
you've
road.
been to
It's like-
Kansas, but you have not been to Montreal at this point.
Yeah, believe it or not, when you go through Montreal, you have to go through Kansas. So you're driving for about
You just took the
100
long
miles.
way.
Eventually, all of a sudden, you get the city in the background.
Why?
You see the kind of skyline.
I feel
And
like
we
you
get
went out of
into
your way a
Canada.
bit.
Montreal, through Kansas and Nebraska, and the flatlands. And we're basically in Montreal. We're walking around, and I realized Tom has a big sticker of Boston Bruins. And if you don't know the hockey rivalry, the Bruins and the Habs, which are the Canadians, have a huge rivalry in which the fans hate each other. And the Canadians, for whatever reason, are more childish than even the Bostonians, which I can't believe I'm saying that. And they fucking hate Bruins fans. So there was this drunk guy, and we're kind of like pointing and looking at him because he's like wasted. And this fucking guy sees a Bruins sticker and starts yelling at the car. And we're like, yeah, like we're being immature Americans. We're yelling like, family bush and stuff like that. So we drive down the street.
Did you just say family bush? Is that a thing?
Family bush? Yeah,
That's how you say, I believe that's how you say, I like your hat in French. Family bush.
And
Family
this guy
bush
was
does
like
not mean that.
the
That's
T-1000. Like, he ran down the hill as we're running, and we hit the traffic lights, and all of a sudden we see this guy rushing towards
Wait, I thought you were in
the car.
Canada.
We're like, fuck. Yeah, we are.
someone
This guy
was
was
gonna
like
do it.
fucking aggressive. He was a drunk Montreal Canadiens fan. So he runs up, kicks my friend's car, the boot of his car, literally, in Canada, and we drive off. So we ended up having a really good time there.
English. It's drunk.
We ended up going to like a strip club, and you know, like that was for the first time I'd never been to a strip club, and it was like
Who's outside with crickets?
That's my gag. I'm kind of doing my own Maze and Jonathan tonight.
Wait, you're gagging on crickets?
So anyway. Hey, dude, you said you were going to be open-minded.
One more thing not allowed in the sex club, just so we're clear.
So there's a lot of like... So the
no
strip club
bugs
was
of any
full
kind
contact,
allowed.
but there's not as much full contact as you expect. So
Wait, now is
we were
this at the
kinda,
hockey game or is this
disappointed,
the
you know?
strip
The
club?
girls were...
Did you get any
Strip
guts?
club,
So you
dude.
didn't get any guts or anything?
No. So we're at the strip club, and we go to like the bar area, because then it became a part where if you're in one area, it's like you have to pay like a fee, and you know, we went up with very little money, so like some people were on a budget. So, and we're also college kids at the time.
That
too.
sounds like
So
a
we went
fucking
to the bar
50-year-old. Like,
area.
well, some of us
Met
are on
up-
a budget. I took
Back
the
in the
casino
day.
bus down here.
So anyway, we met up with these guys from Western Mass.
I wanted the free
and We
buffet.
were trying to meet up with girls, and they were like, we're up with these girls as well. Why don't you come back to our hotel and hang out with us? So we're like, all right, we're gullible, we're drunk. So we're walking down the street. We end up walking, I'm talking about 2 miles. It was also like fucking negative 10 degrees, you know, even below Fahrenheit, even though we're in Canada, so they use Celsius. Ugh. And so we eventually get to the hotel, and the weirdest thing was, so we get in the hotel, and there's another roommate's there in his underwear watching porn. So I just like, we see it, and we're just like, oh, and he was like, hey, what's up? Gets up, puts his pants on, but keeps the porn on. So we're just like all hanging out, and like me and like a few buddies were like just staring at each other.
Did he have an erection?
What the fuck is going on? I didn't even want to look. I was just like,
Matt's really ashamed
I was
of
really
saying
hammered
that
at the
he
time,
wanted to
and-
look.
He also said he didn't want to look. He didn't say he didn't. He was like, I didn't want to look.
Like,
But
I mean,
God,
you-
was
I'm
I
sure you had to
caught in his
glance at it.
gaze.
yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever, man. So
Matt's like,
we're
if I had to sketch it from memory, I'd have to use my sense of taste.
See, I told him I was blind, and I needed to feel it to really see how big it was.
So we're like hanging
It
out.
is just
and,
all gay jokes and poop jokes tonight, folks. We have devolved
and,
rapidly.
You know, these guys promised that they had pot. So we're sitting there, and we're like, yeah, we're getting the pot. We're going to like roll up like a big joint. So we're sitting there, and we're like, you know, where are the girls at? And they were like, oh, yeah, I don't think they're here. Like, I looked at my cell phone. Yeah, I think they're out here tonight. So we're just sitting there, and then eventually, like, I think one of my friends will just say his name is, I don't know, Donald decides, let's get the fuck out of here. So we get up and we get out, and but as we're leaving, you know, one of the guy was like, here, have this Cuban cigar. So we're like, all right. So we have the Cuban cigar, and, you know,
Was it
take back
in
to the
Monica
hotel,
Lewinsky at
crash.
any point
Next
in time?
day, we're heading back.
Was the fat man in the room Bill Clinton?
Did you see it or hear any saxophone music? These are questions that need to be answered. If you're going to talk about, you know, cigars and men's.
Mems. All right. So anyway, we get to, we're driving back, and then we get to the border. And when we came into Canada, like one of my friends, we were probably maybe like 2 miles away. We're in line. It was quite busy that night. Obviously, people coming in for New Year's. And he goes to us and he was like, yeah, I don't have my ID on me. And we're like, what? This was 4 years after 9/11. So we go up and we're like, fuck, what are we going to do? And we just said, all right, we'll just say he
Wait,
left.
so he
And
got
it's
through
like,
the
ID.
border crossing without an ID?
Yes. So basically what happened was we get to the border patrol and the woman's there and she's very polite. And everybody gives her ID and then we go, oh, by the way, our friend... Fuck you. So anyway,
it sounded like the door in a haunted house.
So the woman lets us in. She looks at it and it says like North Quincy High, and she goes, Red Raiders. She was like, all right, I'll let you guys through. You're probably going to have a little bit of trouble coming back into the country. If I were you, I would, might want to get it sent to you by mail, expedited. But we're only there for one night. So we're like, all right. So the next day we're driving through and we're like all hungover and we're high a bit too. So we get in and of course they bring us in and they say, okay, get out of your car. We want you to come into the center. Because there was 4 of us and that generally means, young people too. They want to, interrogate. So we go in there and the guys are like, they're doing their job. This was 4 years after 9/11, but they're kind of like dicks to us. And they're asking us all these questions. So we're giving her like identification. So they go to one of my friend, they look at his identification, they were like, oh, you have a Middle Eastern name. And he was like, yeah, is there a problem with that? And he was like, well, is there a family member of yours that's Middle Eastern? This is pre-Trump, by the way. And he was like, yeah, my dad. And he was like, where's he from? And I'm like, he's like, Iran. And he was like, was your dad a runaway? And he was like, fuck, I don't know. He's like, my dad's dead.
Yeah, I don't.
He's been dead
Matt,
since I was
hold
6
on,
years
I'm sorry.
old.
I don't want to be a dick, but we're still pre-Trump. He's not the president yet.
That's true. So he was like, okay. So
was the
after
guy doing
he
a
had
bit
mentioned...
because he said Iran and then he was like, was your dad a runaway?
I know. Well, these people are intimidating, so you don't want
the Canadians are kings of the dad joke.
Well, these are the Americans at the border control.
Kind of like
a lot more intense. And then they look at my ID. And,
yep.
And they go, hey, and it's like, you just got this last week, kind of quick, leaving the country, huh? And I was like, well, I've never been to Canada. And it was like, how long you been in this country? Oh, I've been here for about, I shouldn't have said it, but I'm like, I've been here for about, 11 years. And it was like, well, what did you have before this green card? And I'm like, a visa. A visa runs for 7 years. What were you doing with those 4 years? And I was like, fuck. And so I was just like, yeah, like it was in process. And they were like, what do you mean it was in process? And I'm like, well, my dad was trying to get... So why didn't you move back to Scotland then? Because you were here 4 years as illegal. And I'm like, fuck. So the guy's like trying to... And I'm like, yeah, I was. And the guy was like, all right, I just, prefer honesty. So then he goes off to one of my friends. He looks at it. He's like, okay, you're from Boston. You have a very generic white name, Smith. All right, off you go. And then he goes to my friend. My friend goes... I have a story. I went to a bar and I might had a few drinks and I lost my ID. I called the bar and it's just not there. I'm going to need a new one to come in. All I have is my school ID. They look at it and they're like, all right, you guys can go. And I was like, what? After all that? After interrogating my friend for having a Muslim last name and then interrogate me because, I was illegal for 4 years, but
well, we all know that Scotland is a hotbed of terrorism.
Oh, absolutely! Just like that guy who got the shit beaten out of him for trying to run the car in the Glasgow airport.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
And he tried to run in, and yeah, like a ramp. Blew up right in front, came out of the car, and then started chasing people down. And then this guy comes up, Scottish bang handler. Here's Allah Akbar, comes over and gives him a fucking doing.
Smashed him up. Yeah, you
Smashed
generally
him up
want to
so
avoid
badly.
saying the Aloha snack bar in public.
Yeah. Goes right, and then they were interviewing the guy.
Don't order
afterwards.
baklava in Hawaii. Aloha, baklava! And then he just gets tackled.
So anyway, as we're leaving, there was 2 other patrol people, and they were searching my friend's car, and they came up across a cigar, and I was like, all right, guys, friend of ours gave this to us. I mean, so they're looking at it, and they were like, all right, yeah, it's a Cuban. I mean, we're just most likely going to take this from you. Then one of them rips it open, and there's like a little bit of like...
You can say pot.
Cannabis,
you can say
like
pot.
an herb. And we're like, oh, fuck.
The marijuana.
Yeah.
I believe
so
they call it
they're
dope.
looking at this and we're like, what's this? And I'm like, hey guys, like, listen, we were given this. We didn't pay for it. Like, we thought it was a Cuban, we were willing to give it up. So they bring us back into the patrol center. They question us further. And, we had smoked pot that weekend, so we're like fucking paranoid. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we figured maybe they had some sort of drug testing. So all of a sudden this guy comes in, and he's in it was one of the Canadian police officers came in. He wasn't a Mountie, it wasn't Dudley Do-Right, and he's looking at it.
You smoked the dope, eh?
And the guy goes to him and is like, yeah, this is salvia. Now, if you don't know what salvia is a version of cannabis. It's like an herb, but it's actually legal here in the United States still. They haven't classified it. They haven't made it illegal. So it was legal in the United States, but it was illegal in Canada. But the Canadian officer just looked at it and he was like, all right, I'll take this away from you guys and you can go ahead. So I'm sorry for the mix-ups and the jumbling, but that is my story of my first trip to Canada and my New Year's in Montreal.
Okay.
Any questions, Jesse?
No, I wish I had more, but no.
You wish you had more? That was like that's like the most coherent Matt's been ever.
I know that I have no more questions. That was pretty easy to follow.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like you wish you had more information. I'm like, that was good.
I think it was like
I
it was
wish
really
I had more
detailed.
questions, but I don't have.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was kind of like, shit. Matt actually, followed.
I'm upset it didn't end with, and then I heard the.
You know what it is? Matt probably did some psychedelics that weekend. And he just like cracked his back right before he told the story, so everything came rushing back.
Oh boy.
I was putting on the Ritz for
Yikes.
that one.
So, I don't have a story nearly as good as that, but I will try and make it exciting. So, I was traveling for work, as I've had to do much over the last 4 years, and we went to Philly for a national meeting for work.
Oh,
well, it's easy to enjoy Philly when you get to the plane and they tell you that all the checked baggage or all the overhead compartments are full and you need to check your bags. And so me and the 4 people that I was flying with all had to check our bags at the gate, which, if you don't know, is really kind of like an uncomfortable process because they give you the sticker and then they basically stick your bag in the abyss of the tarmac, and you're like, "Fuck! I really hope that the guy that's doing this isn't some like trash bag who's gonna forget it somewhere."
It always
yeah,
is.
right. So then you see the tarmac troll come up, and he takes the 4 bags, and then he throws the 5th bag down the flight of stairs, and you're like, "Well, I'm glad I didn't have anything breakable in there."
Don't worry, Governor. I'll protect you,
oddly
babe.
enough, he was wearing a monocle, and I'm not sure why, but so we
twirling his like handlebar mustache. I'm gonna tie your bag to the tracks.
You'll never catch me. so we
we don't take kindly to those kind of bags around these parts. We're gonna give you a roughen up.
That's one of them black bags.
So we board the plane. Now this is indicative of how the whole trip was going to be. We take off and it's raining in Philly, and we hit some pretty big fucking turbulence on the way out, and the plane actually dropped. And when I say dropped, I mean like fell hundreds of feet very quickly.
Like a man jumping off the
It was actually pretty similar to that because my fat ass was lifted right up out of the chair. It was one of those moments where you put your hands on the ceiling to stop you from going up. Not a comfortable feeling. And we ended up circling Philly for like 45 minutes until we could land. And then as we're landing, the plane actually fishtails down the runway. So not a comfortable experience at all. And we're sitting at baggage claim, and one of our friends, his bag never shows up to baggage claim, and somehow they lost his luggage. And we're like, well, it was on like we gave it to them at the gate. We're explaining this to the people. Meanwhile, we have a bus that's waiting for us to get on to go to the hotel. So this poor bastard is like giving his information, like, I'm staying at this hotel. I don't have a room number yet. Like, I have to, like, I'm going to get there. So he's actually, the person at the airport's like, all right, you need to call us when you get there. Give us your room number, and then we'll figure out what happened to your bag. So he fills out the form, and, he gets this little business card, and he goes on his way. And so we actually had to catch a cab because we missed our charter bus out. So we take a cab out. We actually got detoured because the roadway had flooded. And we get there to the hotel. He ends up getting his room number, calls the airline, and says, hey, this is my room number. And they're like, okay, we're going to find your bag for you. And so, we had to go out with him, and he had to get, like, a change of clothes. He had to get, like, toothbrush, like, stuff because he didn't know when he was going to get his bag. So, he got a phone call from the front desk probably at, like, 10:30 at night saying that there was somebody there with his luggage for him. We were actually all out to, like, a team dinner. So he said, oh, just give it to the concierge, and can you have someone put it in my room? The guy brings it up to his room. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's all taken care of. So that...
No ifs, ands, or buts, but plenty of vibrators.
So he gets back to his room, and he opens up his bag, and it's all women's clothing. It's not his bag at all. The sticker was, like, torn off of it and just, like, shredded. And so he had to call the airline, and apparently they had switched up two people's bags because the stickers had come off of them in the airline, like, the car that the service dropped the bag off in. So the guy just slapped a sticker on a random bag and sent it into the hotel. So he had to, like, call the airline, said, this isn't my bag. He gave it to the hotel. The hotel guy brought it up. This is, like, women's clothes in it. He found a vibrator in there. Like, he was like...
Was it like a dodgeball situation where, like, he had to show up the next day wearing, like, a blouse and, like, this weird...
He said the oddest thing was, like, that he's, like, looking in this bag, and the woman was, like, definitely a businesswoman, like, really well put together, but it was, like, a studded, vibrating dildo. He was like, it was really uncomfortable for me to even see that, like... Because you see, like, in this head, he puts this picture together, and the way he describes it as best, he's like, is this really nice, larger woman.
Why was it studded? Was the woman a hot
I don't
topic?
know. It just, like, he said it was like...
Well, listen, vaginas need vacations.
He said it needed, like it had, like, little nubs on it.
They don't need bedazzle.
He said it had, like, little nubs on it. I don't know. It was like a rubber sheath, I guess. I don't know what you call it. So, but he's like, think of a really nice, larger, plus-size woman who's away on business and is a little lonely. so
oh no.
He sends the bag back downstairs. The airport service had already picked up this woman's bag, and they knew where they had made the switch. So they actually had him, like, come down at, like, 2 a.m. to actually go through his actual bag to make sure it was his. So all that said and done, and the next night, we had some free time in between, like, having dinner and, whatever we wanted to do for the rest of the night. So they decided that he was going to go to a strip club that was local in Philly, with some guys in our group. And, they got kicked out because one of the guys in the group ran out of dollar bills and started throwing change at one of the strippers because she ignored him. So
I had a friend do that once, actually. Same thing. He got really drunk.
He was
throwing change. Well, the stripper was short. She was like a shorter woman. And
I don't know how that justifies
he felt
it.
that she didn't deserve the full dollar. So he had a lot
she
to
was a
drink.
leprechaun?
And this guy's like, he's like 6'4". He was in the military. And so he started throwing quarters at him. Needless to say, he got kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, so they kicked out the whole group of these guys. There was like 6 of them. And this one guy just took a pocket full of change and, like, hummed it at a stripper who was ignoring him. And it doesn't go kindly with, like, a 450-pound bouncer who grabs you and literally tosses you out of the establishment. So this poor bastard, my good friend, actually, has lived through all of this, and we still have to go home. And so he gets home, or he gets on he gets to the airport to go home. He and I had an early flight out, earlier than everybody else, and we get to the gate, and they're like, "Sir, would you like to check your baggage? This is a full flight." And he goes, "If you tell me to check my baggage, I swear to God, we're going to have words." And the woman took that as a threat, so she called the airport security, and so the police show up and they question him, and they find out that he's just had a really rough go of it this week. And they were like, "Well, sir, you can't threaten airport staff. If you don't watch what you do from here on out, we will remove you from here, and you'll be put on a no-fly list." So he checks his, he doesn't check his bag. He puts it in the overhead bin. We get in the plane to go home. We land. He gets his bag. He gets everything. And he gets into his car, and he left his wallet at the at the hotel, and so he couldn't pay to get his car out. He had to wait for someone to come give him his, come get him some stuff. Like his wife worked in Boston, so she came and like gave him cash and shit like that. But it was a fucking horror story for him. Which made me get off easy actually, because I took a cab home and.
Because you get pleasure out of other people's misery, so you go off.
I was like, oh yes.
You're like, oh,
I was like, oh, my day was so easy compared to his. So, no, I look back fondly on this trip because I took a cab home, and the worst was that they were like, oh no, I'm sorry, we don't take credit cards. So I picked a fight with the cab company, and magically they decided they would take a credit card over the phone. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Questions?
No questions.
Comments?
That is. How long have you worked with this person?
For the last 4 years.
Okay.
Jordan, is this the same guy we went to the Red Sox game with?
No. So that was a guy I worked with at T-Mobile. This guy I've worked with in this company for 4 years. Okay. He was one of the guys that we went to Toby Keith's with, actually. Remember when you met us at Toby Keith's?
Yeah, there was like three. Was he the? Well, I was going to say, was he the fat guy? But
no. He was the funny white guy. The other funny white guy.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I think I understand. Yeah, no more questions.
All right.
Except for, does eating chips and salsa on the radio sound really unprofessional? You guys tell me.
I'm going to say
no less professional
than
Sarge farting into a microphone.
So I guess. I did not fart into the microphone. It was just a loud fart.
I don't think
It's not loud and distracting, is it?
I really don't think at this point that is the worst thing that's going to come out of this podcast.
All right, guys, buckle up. We're about to get knuckle deep. All right.
I don't like that intro.
So
Jesse's been knuckle deep this whole episode.
Many moons ago,
wearing a people glove.
Many moons ago, a good friend of mine and I decided we would go to New Orleans to ring in the new year because we were both wild and crazy single young men at the age of 22. We thought it would be a good idea to go to the Big Easy before it sank, which it did literally like 2 years later. And so we
because of Katrina.
Actually, I think it was just was it a year later?
Just blame everything bad.
No,
it's not Katrina. It works.
So anyway. So we get to New Orleans. We have this amazing first night there. Stupidly, we tell ourselves like, okay, we're only going to spend $80 a night, so that we, fucking.
On a vacation, are you expecting to
Hold on. New Orleans in happy hour, you pay for one beer and you get 7, basically.
Oh.
And they just pour it in this giant bucket that you carry around. So anyway, we figure we're going to be golden. First night, we're goddamn total tourists. This jackass, he buys, you know how like they have the necklace of the beads?
Yes.
That they, you throw the beads to people and everything.
Are these the rosary beads?
They're elaborate. So some of them are fairly elaborate. So this jackass, who we're going to give him the name Todd because he listens to the show and I don't want to out him.
Can we just call him Anal Bead?
No. We're going to call him Todd.
All right.
Because I've already settled on that name. So anyway, so they have this one necklace and it's like it's like neoprene penises all the way around. And when you squeeze them, a little white thread shoots out of the front of it. It looks like it's a shot, right? And so we go into the store to buy the beads, and I buy just like a bag of generic beads for like $30 because I'm a fucking moron. And he sees this thing hanging on the rack, and he's like, oh my God, look at this. And the guy behind the counter saw us coming from a mile away, and he's like, oh man, if you buy that, like women are going to be all over you. You'd be amazed at the things they'll do for those beads. And so I'm like, I don't know, dude. Those are like 8 dicks that you're going to wear around your neck. Like, I feel like you're advertising at that point. And he's like, no, it's going to be great. I'm going to buy it. So he buys it. And so I'm walking around with like a bunch of regular beads around my neck. And he's walking around with 8 dicks around his neck. Weird that no woman wanted to talk to us. So we go into all these bars and like, I don't know if you guys saw this in like the clubs in Boston, but down there, the women, they have these like shot glasses that look like vials. And I know they had this in Boston, but in New Orleans, they do all kinds of great shit with them. Like, they would put it in their throat all the way down so that just the tip of it was sticking out of their lips, and then they'd pour it into your mouth, and then they'd lean back and shoot it up into the air.
What?
And this level of acrobatics blew my fucking mind. So I spent like $140 on these shots simply because watching a woman contract her throat muscles and shoot a plastic vial into the air was that fascinating to me.
Well, that's just a great weekend.
Anyway, so that was our first night. We get unbelievably demolished. The next night, we're like, okay, we got to play it lean tonight. We're going to go to this place that we know about that sells hand grenades. Again, if you've never been to New Orleans, a hand grenade is
it's something they throw in the air and hope doesn't explode on them.
Your name is Sarge, so explain.
It's a long plastic glass. At the bottom, it looks like a hand grenade, and at the top, it's like a flute. And inside, a flute like a champagne flute. And inside, they fill it up with Everclear and this punch flavor.
Yeah, Everclear.
This punch
Everclear is
flavor.
not a good base for a drink.
So here's the thing. For the first 3/4 of the drink, it tastes like pineapple juice. And then for the last quarter of the drink, it tastes like straight fucking gasoline. But it gets you unbelievably fucked up. So...
Oh, quickly, too.
Oh, yeah. Wasted. Me and Todd, we're in the bar for like 2 hours, shit-faced out of our minds. So we take our hand grenades, because the great thing about New Orleans is you can just fucking walk around drinking. So we're walking down Bourbon Street with our last hand grenade, and we are way drunker than we needed to be. And we're like, this is great. We don't need to buy any more. So we're drinking these hand grenades, and I'm like, you know, what the fuck? I'll just start having an Irish accent. Why not?
That's just the thing you decided to do.
I was shit-faced drunk, so I think it was just a natural...
You just do a pirate voice?
Well, no, so what I think happened is, like, the Irish part of my genetics kind of rose to the top, on top of all the alcohol I put in my system. It was convincing enough that these 3 women we met from Boston believed I was an Irishman. So we meet these girls from Boston, and we're talking to these girls.
You also have a face like a roadmap, so it doesn't really...
That's true, too. I have terrible skin. So I'm talking to
also,
not like my dad.
Harvard
My dad,
Boston or Revere Boston?
Oh no! They were South Boston girls.
Okay. So in between the two,
from Andrew Square.
Long story short, they've seen enough Irishmen where I was pretty proud of myself for pulling it off, given how drunk I was.
Yeah, but that's not like Scally Cap, like, I
don't know.
Javier,
Long story short, from what I remember, after only being able to see out of one eye, is that they were beautiful. 2 of them were beautiful, and one of them had skin that made her look a little bit like a burn victim. But she wasn't actually a burn victim. She just had terrible acne. So anyway, I'm talking to the prettiest of the group, and it turns out she's from my hometown of Quincy and lives in South Boston. So I was like, oh, fuck. I really got to be careful how I play this game. So anyway, we're hanging out with these girls. We're having a great time, and I'm doing okay. I'm making them laugh. I'm like, this is going to get real. And then they were saying like, oh, New Orleans is a little dangerous. Like, we're worried about walking home at night. And I'm like, don't worry about that. Me and get home, no problem.
I think you mean Todd.
Whoops. Tom, beep that for me.
We're all Christians here.
So anyway, Todd. So I'm drunk enough where I mention his name, and then I was immediately like, "Where's Todd?" And we can't find him, and we can't find the girl with the really bad acne. And I'm thinking to myself, like, did they just go off to have a smoke? Were they, like, talking to each other? Like, what's happening? So they're walking around trying to find them. I'm walking around. I'm really not looking because I don't care where he is because he's probably, having a good time. So eventually I turn this corner and I see the 2 girls come out of the bathroom. And then I see the girl with the really bad acne come out of the bathroom and she's buttoning her shirt up. And then Todd comes out of the bathroom and he's buttoning his pants like his mom just caught him masturbating. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Did you fuck this up? And he's like, well, I mean, we were talking and one thing led to another. And then she just started blowing me in the bathroom. But the thing is, like, if you've ever been in a bathroom in a bar in New Orleans, it is not a cool place. It is not a sexy place.
It's not.
It's a place of dingy yellow mold and grossness and terrible things. And he is getting...
They throw ice cubes into the
Yes, and he is getting a mouth job in the toilet.
A
And
mouth
her
job. That is
friends
the
are
worst way to
fucking-
describe that.
Well, when you see this girl, you'd be like, no, it was probably a mouth job. It was like the whole mouth, not just the lips. So anyway,
Oh no.
I have to keep up this fucking fake Irish accent for another 2 hours with zero fucking there's no way I'm getting anything out of this now because my buddy just fucking ruined the whole show by getting whatever going on in the toilet with fucking Jonah Hex over there. So so it's I don't know, it's 3 a.m. I'm at this point fucking destroyed drunk. I can barely stand up, which is good because I can't talk anymore. So I don't have to keep up the accent, but we did promise to walk these ladies home. So we're walking down the street and we get maybe 2 or 3 blocks, and then we have to go back and separate Todd and this mutant from each other because they keep falling back and holding hands and then dipping into alleys to make out and stuff.
Oh.
Anyway, we finally get back to their hotel. It's my last chance. And I look back and Todd's making out with the beast again. And I'm like, well, that's it. Game over. We're not getting anything. Put on this stupid Irish accent. I'm shit-faced drunk. I can barely walk. And then they just left us. They went into their hotel, and me and Todd have no fucking idea where we are. The murder rate in New Orleans is astronomical. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're 2 shit-faced drunk idiots, and we have no idea where our fucking hotel is. We wound up wandering around New Orleans for 20 minutes before we found our way back home. But that is my fucking travel story.
Jesus.
I have so many travel stories, but that one sticks in
Did
memory.
your friend marry this woman?
No, my friend is not married. He is a confirmed yet very successful bachelor.
Okay, I thought you were going to say homosexual, but that's okay.
All right. Well,
No,
so
he is definitely not homosexual.
we are 50 minutes into this episode. That's 50. So we are going to take a quick break. Yeah, no shit, huh? We are going to take a quick break while Jesse ponders our stories. And
I'm also going to eat another chip.
fair enough. I was waiting for the crunch. So
No, I didn't reach for it yet. I just announced my intent for it. Listen, I'm not a man of expectations.
got it. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, John Cimino here for Amazon Prime. If you've thought of signing up for Amazon but were afraid to pull the trigger on that because it's $99 for a year and it's one flat price, even though there's awesome benefits to it, I got great news for you. Amazon has now given you a variety of options to try Prime. First of all, you can either try Amazon Prime Video for $8.99 a month, which is cheaper than Netflix, and it also gives you unlimited movies and TV shows, including HD, Ultra HD, and HDR when available at no additional charge. You can try Amazon Prime Monthly for $10.99 a month, which is equivalent to Netflix, but in addition, you'll get free 2-day shipping, unlimited movies, TV, and music streaming, access to over 1 million ebooks, free unlimited photo storage, and free same-day delivery in eligible areas. Perhaps those drones? Maybe, maybe not. Not sure. Or if you're old school like me, you pay $99 a year annually, and you get all the benefits of Prime Monthly. Plus, you can save 25% with prepayment discount added. It's an added feature for you yearly folks. Don't think they forgot about you. You can go ahead to GearNetwork.com. That's GERE Network.com. Click on our Amazon banner, our Amazon Prime banner, and we can hook you up with a free 30-day trial through us. This podcast does receive a special bonus if you sign up for Prime using us. And that's even if you don't keep it, but we think you will, because it's awesome, and if you shop Amazon frequently like I do, that free 2-day shipping is a lifesaver. As always, thank you for bookmarking and sharing our link at GearNetwork.com.
Oh, God. Remember those days, Faneuil Hall?
Oh, Faneuil Hall. Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah.
So many bad nights at the Black Rose.
Oh, how about the other place? Oh, fuck. The place where the Comedy Connection is?
Oh, I don't know.
The Comedy Stop now?
I like
It
going to
used
the
to
Black
be-
Rose.
No,
because
there's no comedy
club.
club in Faneuil Hall anymore.
Really? They closed it?
Yep.
That's fucked up. Where do the tourists go to be annoying?
Oh my god, I missed it so much that I didn't even know it was gone.
No, I'm just saying, like...
They
where do
moved
the
the Comedy Connection technically is the Wilbur now.
Oh, yeah. Because that's where they also did Blue Man Group, right? There's a Comedy Connection right above Blue Man Group.
No, Blue Man Group is Charles Playhouse.
And that's the Comedy Stop.
Nick's Comedy Stop.
Nick's Comedy Stop, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're back.
Nick Divine!
We were just
That's
talking.
the name of the place.
Yeah, cool.
We're just naming bars.
We were
in
just
Boston.
just shooting the shit in the break
Douchey is the place.
sometimes we like to talk to each other still. We pretend that we actually like each other for the benefit of the show.
Shut up, Tinkerbell.
I made a revelation that I have feelings as a fat person, and my brother Sarge.
I like how you referred to yourself as a fat person.
My brother Sarge.
Fat, effeminate.
Listen. I know my pronouns.
Effeminate was new. That was new, Matt.
That wasn't really a word I would use to describe him, but it kind of fits.
Not so much, but that's okay. Anyway, so I made a revelation. I've got fat feelings.
You're not fat. You're huge. It's different.
Oh, God.
You're like a football player.
Yeah, sure. I'm like I ate a football player. And the ball he was holding.
I didn't say that.
You're like a football player who retired a few years ago.
Hey, Jesse, if you were to sit up straight, how many rolls would happen on the back of your neck?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so...
I mean, on the plus side, Matt's the skinniest one on the show, so, I mean, I'm fat, too.
I'm
just,
there, man.
Not football fat.
I've seen Matt in his fat stage. Matt is not even getting up there.
Oh, God, I have the chipmunk fucking face. I look like I have permanent mumps.
Matt looked... in Matt's fat stage, he looked like a dead body that had been floating in the Charles.
Winter?
Matt, there was one point where you actually looked like you had chipmunks inside your cheeks.
I kid you not, when Matt was at his fattest, he looked like he was a dead body that had been floating in the Charles River and absorbing water for months. He looked waterlogged and just swollen. It was really uncomfortable.
Jordan was like, Matt, I knew you were getting to theater, but I didn't realize you were going to play the fucking Michelin guy.
Oh, I had so much promise for that one.
Let it sit.
Yeah, I mean, you could have been the stage. You could have been wearing the curtains as a cloak, and you chose Michelin Guy? Like, the Michelin Man isn't even in a play,
Or you could have
man.
said, I knew you were into acting, but I didn't think you were going to be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. See, that would have been better.
I don't know, man. I saw a cartoon with the Michelin Guy. He didn't say many lines, but it was all physical comedy. Go ahead.
I like how Matt kind of likes to drive the show sometimes when he's got something that doesn't land quite well. He's like, no, just go ahead.
And sometimes he's drunk behind the wheel.
Always drunk behind the wheel.
Oh, boy.
Not safe.
I guess Alex Jones finally had that stroke Matt was talking about.
The CIA finally got me.
Oh my God, Trump's unraveling.
All right, let's do this.
What are we doing? Oh,
Jesse.
right, yeah, Jesse. Jesse's got to decide who is the brain and who are the fools.
Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to say Jordan was one of the assholes. Your story, for some reason, the way you were telling it reminded me of either an episode of a TV show or a movie.
Okay.
You're not going to tell me if I'm correct or not.
No. You got to go all the way through.
So it came down to... It came down to Sarge. At least I bailed halfway through.
Oh, man, you guys are going to have to get handy with that beep button.
No, I think I pressed my own beep button, all right?
I actually much prefer the raspberry to everything else.
Raspberry.
Oh, boy.
Just
We have to
Jesse doing a bad
isolate
Winston
the
Churchill.
raspberry and just insert the raspberry every time one of you idiots says my name.
So it came down to Sarge and Matthew. And I think as detailed as Matt's was, Sarge's seemed more believable and sounded more like he was actually there. So I'm going to say Sarge is the brain, Matt, and Jordan are the assholes.
You would be correct.
Ah, I nailed it!
You nailed it. You got it,
So
buddy.
parts of that story happened. Like the fact that they all got kicked out of a strip club for somebody throwing change at a stripper. That was a real thing.
I feel like everybody has a change at a stripper
happened.
story.
The plane ride actually happened. The fishtailing, the checking the luggage at the gate actually happened. But where I deviated and inserted some of the I had some inspiration from Meet the Parents was when his luggage got lost.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, is Jordan doing Meet the Parents right now?
Yeah, so that was a thing. Meet the Parents was a little bit of inspiration for me.
Jesse, my story was 100% true up until the part of the Mountie that came.
Okay.
So they didn't actually go into her vehicle. Everything else of that part of the story, completely true, and Tom was a witness of it.
And that's the thing. I believed all of it up until the Mountie part. And then I was like, this feels like that 70s show where they got pulled over and the kid was just like, I love Rush, to try and get out of trouble.
Oh, man. So that was good.
Well,
I could have changed that story around better.
That was a lot of fun.
Matt, the pressure's on you, man. You're the only one who doesn't have a catch.
Yeah, this is true.
But Jesse didn't get it the first time, so.
Yeah, so Jesse's 1-1, but you're still 0-1, so that still makes you the second loser. Actually, you're first loser now because your winning percentage is 0.
I'm the golden loser.
Yeah.
Everybody just take the piss out of me.
Well, you'll get your...
You're just... Never get though.
Dude, you've got puns for days. It's like all that glitters is gold.
Well, you'll get your chance to redeem your score next time, because you are the fool.
All right, cool.
I get to choose, so I'm choosing.
It's just because Matt's so difficult to work with sometimes. Yeah. That's what your problem is.
To work with.
No,
well,
you guys just record.
The 3 you're in the spectrum, so I just have to work around it.
I can't wait.
Right, well,
I can't wait for Matt to be like, "Hey guys, I'm not gonna be able to record because I have a lecture that happens at 9 p.m." You know, like.
I'm so glad I missed that. This professor
is he in California or
awesome?
I mean, a 9 p.m. lecture. I don't.
Good question. He didn't mention. He mentioned what school he went to, but
now give his first and last name and phone number.
Matt, what school are you at?
Southern New Hampshire University.
Okay.
They're really good for like online courses.
Yeah, I know. I've heard a lot of really good things about.
He's from the Schnoo.
It's like it's surprising because like a lot of those online schools, like you don't know if they're for profit or whatever, but I've heard good things about them.
Sarge goes to kindergarten. I mean, he's not a student. He just kind of hangs out in the lot the whole day.
I go to school through the Veterans Affairs Administration, and they gave me a lot
how
of
much
crayons,
I love this podcast. I can
crayons.
hear the fire alarm in my apartment going off, and I'm going to keep going with the episode.
Well, that's because you're blowing giant, billowy Cinnamon Toast Crunch smoke up into the sky.
Is steam. What a vapor. Either way, it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it's amazing.
I think Jesse's just going
so you're still going strong?
Now.
Yeah.
You're at a week now, right?
Yep, I've now completely cut down from a full pack a day to a half pack a day. My smoking
but
has
you're
been
not supposed to smoke it all when you're doing the vaping, you idiot.
Hey, it's been helping me cut back.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
I have been
it's still not
he's on the Uncle Buck
thing.
plan, so pretty soon he's just going to move to cigars.
Hey, I think after over 10 years of smoking cigarettes, cutting my smoking in half for the first time is pretty good.
I've been sober for 12 days.
But that's not like a thing you're going for forever. You'll be doing the next day
Jesse,
off you have.
That's the best I've done.
I don't doubt it.
Since
you know what?
actually,
what he's saying,
proud of you.
What he's saying, the best he's done is the fact that he's counted to 12. Usually he just gets up to 10 and then forgets what comes after that. So,
yeah.
Matt's just trying to reset his tolerance.
It always goes to 11. Everything goes to 11. Drinks, sobriety, 11.
Oh, man.
Matt, by the way, I saw your wife on the train last night.
Yeah, who was she kissing?
Yeah,
why does that sound like the start to an insult? Saw your wife on the train.
No. She has no idea who I am, so I didn't say anything. But I recognized her from your Facebook photo. And I was like, oh shit, that's
Mrs.
Matt's
Matthew.
wife. I won't say her name on the radio because I don't know if that's cool. But I'm like, oh shit, that's Matt's wife. I better not say anything because she has no idea who I am. So it's just going to be really weird. Like
she has no idea who you are.
In a beard, and he's like, hey, what's going on? I know your husband.
What's the matter? You invited to the wedding? Oh, I should stop bringing that up.
You should also stop using his name.
Yes.
I did. Damn it.
I did.
You did.
I called him Sarge.
You just know you definitely didn't.
I talked to Larry the other
that
day.
Matt had a Christian wedding. I don't know what you got out.
I talked to Larry the other day. He finally got through to me. He showed up in my workplace, out of all places.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he is. Doesn't like the new format, guys. He says 2 thumbs out of the anus and down.
That's oddly specific. Maybe we can get him on the next episode. Maybe he can be a contributor.
Yeah, he might be our golden reporter.
So
we should make Larry the Fool one episode.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I feel like we've made Larry a fool every episode he's been on.
We could make Larry think he's the brain.
The episode, guys. I just got tickets to Mastodon and Eagles of Death.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's a cool
Dude, they're playing
fucking
a great
lineup.
Yeah, they're playing at the House of Blues in May.
That's awesome.
I'm jelly.
Mastodon
I'm jelly.
are awesome.
But they don't play blues.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, let me know, and I'll get in touch with Larry, and maybe we can have Larry and Maynard on an episode.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Larry at Metal Show. That'd be awesome.
All right, guys. So, again, you can follow us all on Twitter at Musing Podcast. I am at Muse Knuckle. Sarge is at Bastard Prophet. Matt is at The Collected Taste. And sadly, Jesse is still at the Jesse Miles. You can follow us on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, like, follow, subscribe. I don't know, whatever you guys want to do there.
Share us. Give us a
Twitter
review
handle.
on
Yeah,
iTunes.
seriously.
Do
Still has
something,
the
you
worst
fucking
tattoo.
losers. We've been giving you joy for fucking a year now.
Well, let's not accost
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
Let's
the best.
I called them losers. And
Let's not act like the alcoholic stepfather who's like, you don't tell me I'm drunk. Only I
Go
tell
to our
you I'm
website,
drunk.
leave us some feedback. www.misguidedmusings.com. It's now in the show description, so if you're that lazy and don't want to type it in, you can literally just click the link. So click the fucking link. And
please click the link.
we've got Tom locked in a basement somewhere, and until somebody leaves us some positive feedback, he's just going to stay there.
The world's not getting it back.
He keeps on Tom keeps on texting me, and he goes, "I got wee wee on my wee."
I don't think that's Tom. I think you have a very important man's
See,
phone number.
the problem is that we've locked Tom in a bin. He's covered in leather with a ball gag in his mouth, and so we don't let him out unless Matt goes down to walk him once a day. And we feel kind of bad. His wife hasn't seen him in a while, and so if you guys could just give us a little bit of positive feedback. Oh Jesus!
A guy called
This episode is
You would be the one to robot at the very end of the episode, Matt.
Greg.
Matt, you're roboting again. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us this episode, and we'll get you next week.
Mwah! Love you.
You're welcome, and we're sorry.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.